Greetings, mortals. This is Zephus the Dragon. I just fired an early shot there. We are playing Paladins right now. Right now, I'm just in the training area. Going to show off a little bit of the basics for Paladins. So this is what this video will be. Just a little rundown of some basics on how Paladins works and maybe a couple characters and things like that. So let's go ahead and get started here. First of all, I have loaded Cassie here. So I'm going to put her in third-person view real quick so you can see how the model works and everything like that, and go back to first person. Now you can play in just casual matches. You can play in either third person or first person. They don't care. But in competitive matches, you have to play in first person. So it's probably just a good idea to get used to being good in first person. So I'm up here on the top. This is the trading area, and so the way Paladins works is so it's a first person type of shooter game, multi-hero thing, but the kicker is that every character has a 4 abilities and then an ultimate. So, for example, Cassie's primary ability, the ZR trigger, is shoot a bunch of crossbow bolts, and she can shoot 6 in a fairly rapid fire succession. She cannot headshot, so that's 6, and there's 7.
That's 5 in a row.
Somebody. Her movement ability, she has one. A lot of characters have movement abilities. That's under the R, and in this case it's a dodge roll. Dodge roll out of the way. I have a talent equipped with her so that when she dodge rolls, her next shot is more powerful. So I'll show that. That's why that little glowing arrow thing there. And then most the champions have 2 triggers, the L and ZL. Her ZL is basically a knockback arrow. It sends them flying away. Off they go. And her L trigger is an explosive arrow that hits and explodes around it for damage around it. And then her ult is basically she summons her bird, and now she can see everybody on the map, even through walls and everything like that. And that's really useful. And she's also CC immune, so kind of useful for that. So yeah, like I said, the basics pretty much have that. So if I change to a different character here, different champion, they work differently, completely different ways. So like, for example, we'll take Makoa here. Makoa is a big giant turtle thing with a cannon, and so when you load into the game, you're allowed to choose 1 of 4 talents. Now talents have to be unlocked over time, but in the training hall you don't have to worry about it. My favorite talent for him right now is half shell. So that basically, and then you choose one of your loadouts. Every character starts with a basic loadout, and then you can create your own as you want to. So created a loadout for him that basically emphasizes his shield, gives him a little bit of life spin, and definitely works on reloading and capturing. So he's like trying to ebb and flow. So again, if you can go third person, this is a special skin for him. It's called Akuma. It makes him look evil and nasty. It's great. So he works a little differently because he's a frontliner. His shots are not as powerful per se as a damage champion, but he can still get the job done, as you can see there.
Not even a warm-up.
It does good there. His L is a shield, and normally he would have to keep the shield going, and he couldn't do anything else, but because of half shell, he can pop the shell on the ground, and it just stays there. His ZL is an anchor. He goes whoop-ah! Pulls him towards him, giving him basically a free shot because it stuns him, which is kind of nice. And then his R, his movement ability, is he goes shells out and hits, and mostly used for knocking people away that are getting a little too happy. And then finally, his ultimate is he drops his cannon and goes crazy with his anchor there. He just starts wailing on anything that's near him. He also gains a lot of life and heals completely, so it's kind of cool like that. And dead.
Rampage.
Okay, so he's toast. That was fun. Alright, let's go over the item purchasing real quick. Just show that off. So, in Paladins, you have an item shop when you're in your spawn zone, and you can buy things with credits that you earn in-game. Each of these different trees, you can only buy 1 from each one. So, for example, defense, you can illuminate invisible targets. That's useful for a few characters that go invisible. If you have an enemy team that consists of a lot of invisible characters, this is actually fairly useful, especially if you're trying to hunt them down. Blast Shields takes care of any weapon that's explosive. Haven protects you from any weapon that's direct damage. And Resilience will stop CCs and slows. So if you've got an enemy team that relies on CCs, you can Resilience and slow that down. Utilities. Utilities Master Riding makes you faster when you're on your mount. You get a mount in the game. We'll see that when I'm actually fighting matches. Morale Boost increases your ult. Nimble increases your movement speed, so you can go a little bit faster, which is kind of nice. And then Chronos cooldowns all your abilities except your ult, I believe. Maybe it does that one too. But basically makes your abilities come out a lot quicker. So that's kind of useful to have. Healing. This one is really definitive based on what role you are and what you're trying to do. For example, Rejuvenate gives you more healing from your teammates. So if you're relying on your support to heal you, Rejuvenate's great. Veteran heals you out of combat faster. This is good for characters that aren't necessarily going to be too close to a support and are trying to, once they're out of battle, they can heal up. Kill to Heal is 300 health to 900 health if you make a kill. So really good for characters that do a lot of quick kills. Life Rip heals yourself for every damage that you do at 10%. This is good for characters that do high damage in quick bursts. So it just depends on where your positioning is. Like most flanks want Kill to Heal. Some damage champions do really good with Life Rip because they do high damage in one shot per burst. Veteran is good also if you're playing a damage champion or a flanking champion and you just want to get out of combat for a little bit. The offensives, these are the ones that usually manipulate your damage in some way. Bulldozer destroys deployables. I can speak English sometimes. Cauterize stops healing. Wrecker destroys shields. And Deft Hands increases your reload speed. There are very few reasons to pick Deft Hands. Right now it's considered a bad pick in the game. First of all, it costs 400 credits to increase your reload speed. Any character that needs their reload speed increased usually has that as a card. So, like, for example, Makoa, as I said before, my loadout for Makoa has a card that increases his reload speed by 24%. So I don't need to worry about getting that as a card. But let's go back to that. So, depending on your positioning, again, and depending on what your enemy team consists of. For example, Wrecker is really good if they got a lot of shields on their enemy team and you're trying to whittle them down. You're a frontliner or a damage champion. Bulldozer is good if they got a lot of deployables. Characters, there's some characters that really rely on their deployables, so if you knock them down, they usually become a lot weaker. Cauterize is really good if you're flanking, especially if you're flanking. If you're flanking and you're not picking Cauterize, I have a problem with you. Flanking, Cauterize basically makes it harder for the support to heal their teammates, and if you can keep piling on the damage with Cauterize, you can definitely slow them down. A lot of damage champions can take advantage of it too. So usually it just depends on team layout what you want to pick for that. So let's go ahead and change champions one more time. We're going to go to a more support character. Ying is by far my favorite support character because she's got nice abilities.
Shopping?
So, the skin I've got for him is really cool. It's called Replicant, makes her a robot. Depending on my team and my loadout, I usually pick either Focusing Lens or Lifelike. Focusing Lens is good if I'm attempting to be more damaging. So if I feel like there's enough support, I don't need to back up the supports per se. I can do that one. I use Lifelike if I feel like I can, if the team needs more healing in general, it allows me to burst heal. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to use Lifelink, Focusing Lens, excuse me. And my card loadout first, Keep Away. It emphasizes her illusions, keeps them in play longer, but also if things get really bad, I can shatter the illusions and do some damage. So it's great for basically keeping things away. So to show off her thing here, we have to get a champion to start taking damage. So I'm going to put one of my healers out there, and then see, as you can see, he's taking damage, and my healer's trying to heal it. So I'm going to take her out real quick. Then drop another healer, and now it's double healing him. Which is really useful. Drop another healer. So that's what you gotta do as Ying, is keep dropping those healers. Now eventually you want to shatter it, and that just causes an explosion. Now unfortunately, here it doesn't do it very well against the enemies.
I should go shopping.
I haven't seen that work before, so if I drop one there, it should
Replicate.
chase after it. Yeah, there it is. And then explode it for 500 points of damage. But the thing is, it's supposed to chase them, so let me drop one here and see if it does it in the training hall, if it actually chases. No, it doesn't chase at all, it's worthless. But it does, in an actual match, that replicant will go really fast. Her final move is her, she's going to switch places with one of her illusions. That definitely gives her a chance to get out of the way or move to a new position. And then her ult is Illusionary Rift. She heals everybody, including herself, for lots and lots of healing, and she can teleport to a player as if they were an illusion. So it's kind of nifty. Oh, I got reactivated there. Try to show that off. So I could, no, I can't now. I gotta wait 10 seconds for that to respawn. I'm gonna grab Kronos real quick. Kronos is super good for support characters. Probably one of the best things to do. Okay, so let's try that again. Let's go kill something real quick so I can get my charge back up. Charge. Rebuild charge. Da-da-da-da-da. Charge. Charge.
That's 5 in a row.
Charge.
It's a trip ski. That's 4.
Please
Unstoppable.
You will not control me.
Okay. Drop the healer down.
I should
Okay.
go
There we go.
shopping.
Now I can see. Show this off. Okay. That. And I should be able to teleport to Fernando. Yeah. There we go. So that's really useful if you really need to move around. I'll show off one more champion here just to give you an idea. So showed off your basic damage character with Cassie. I showed off tank type character. Let's go ahead and move to a more unusual style of character. Let's do a flank. Moji's a pretty decent flank. Let's try that. Okay.
Spend these shiny things.
Moji's an interesting character. So, Moji's what they call a flank. Flanks don't have very much hit points. The flank, Moji's got probably the biggest health pool of flanks. The only problem is Moji is a big target. So that's why they gave him her. Excuse me. Moji's a her. They gave her a decent health pool. So flanks are known for their ability to do bursts of damage, but not lots of damage. So I have to be really close to activate this thing. But this one goes at a distance, but it's not very useful by itself. What makes Moji interesting is get that charge on them and then whack them with that.
Killing spree.
So what you do with Moji, you go wah, and then you get ridiculous amounts. Her movement ability is just scamper. She runs for a quick second, get out of the way. And her L is a magic barrier. She is damage immune for about 2 seconds. Her ult is pretty interesting, though. It turns them into a biscuit, and then
Rampage.
yeah, eats it. So that's pretty obvious there.
I gotta spend these shiny
Yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah. Don't tell me what to do. Depending on the circumstances, Nimble works really well for Moji, I feel. She doesn't need deft hands, obviously, because she never reloads. But I almost always will auto-pick Cauterize and Life Rip, because she does a lot, so. So, anyway. So, Scamper's your get out of dodge card, basically. And then this is, if things are really bad, you heal Magic Barrier. So, that'll give you an idea. That's basics Paladins in a nutshell. You've got the 4 abilities and an ult. You've got your characters. They can emote and do all kinds of interesting things. And they, yeah, Moji's like, whee, spin around. Okay. So that's the basics of Paladins. We'll be back later with actual episodes. So see you then.